Hello everyone, I am Jimmy Yang. I'm an inventor. Now today I will introduce to you a patent code 1247040, the United States patent. I'll talk about the communication protocol used in cryptography and in transmission. It can be used in the military or in commercial use. Now, in a communication protocol, we have a lot of different protocols. The protocol type that I introduced is Internet protocol or IoT protocol. And this is a kind of key exchange protocol. That is, we exchange the public keys and after the exchange, we get a common secret. And using this secret, we can have a further communication. And the protocol has two types of functions. One is for authentication. That is, we can authenticate an identity and attest to another our own identity. Another part of the feature is that we can use the common secret to encrypt and decrypt a message. And in key exchange protocol, one subtype of the protocol called the password authentication protocol. Password authenticated key exchange protocol. That is, the key exchanged between two parties has been authenticated by a password, and the password is possessed by the client. For example, a client and a server talk to each other, and then there is a mutual authentication. The client possesses a password, and the server does not know the password. It is very important. Server cannot know the password, but we can use this password to authenticate the key exchanged. That is, we use password to authenticate the public key. But how do we do that? There is a type of password authenticated key exchange protocol called augmented key exchange protocol. That is, it is an asymmetrical way to communicate. That is, we have a password and there is a corresponding verifier of the password. The verifier is a piece of information that is used by the server, and using this verifier as an information, as an anchor to verify the possession of the password that is possessed by the client. So this is a symmetrical way of design. We call it augmented. That is, the client does not send the password to the server. Instead, the client sent a verifier of password to the server, and the server uses this verifier to verify the client. For example, one type of the verifier is called the public key. For example, a client has a private key, and there is a corresponding key corresponding to the private key, which is a public key. So, client using a pair of the key. It is a symmetrical way of key pairing. The private key is a type of password, and the public key is a corresponding piece of information. We call it a verifier. So, a verifier, one type of verifier is a public key, and the client sends the public key to the server, and the server using the public key to verify the client. What kind of verification has been done here? The server using client's public key to verify that the client has a possession of the private key. So this is called augmented password authenticated key exchange protocol. So now I will do one specific embodiment of this kind of augmented key exchange protocol. It is disclosed in patent 124704110. That is invented by me. So in my invention, there are two stages. The first stage is a registration stage. The second stage is an authentication stage. There are two devices, two electronic devices called A and B. You can think of A as a client, B as a server, but the application of my patent is not limited to client and server. It may be two independent devices. For example, two CPU can talk to each other, or two drone can talk to each other, or two computer can talk to each other, two cell phone can talk to each other. So A and B are two devices. Now, V1 and V2. V1 and V2 are two distinct authentication code. V1 is called the first authentication code. V2 is a second authentication code. So in the registration stage, A sent V1 first authentication code to B and send V2 a second authentication code to B. In the authentication stage, B sent V2 the second authentication code to the A. And this is the simplified version of my protocol, communication protocol. After the sending of the authentication code, there are mutual authentication. The result of verification of V2. After A verified the authenticity of V2, A can be sure to authenticate the identity of B, and B can be sure of the identity of A. So after transmission of V2 and verification of V2, A and B can be mutually authenticated and get a mutual key, and using that mutual key to have further communication, for example, encryption and decryption. So what is the relationship between V1 and V2? V2 is a message authentication code of V1. So we're using V1 as an input to message authentication code function, and V2 as an output of a message authentication code function. And the message authentication code function will transform V1 into V2. And there is a key which is very important. It's called a cross-stage key. That is cross stage. There are two stages: registration stage and the authentication stage. There is a cross-stage key that is being used to authenticate V1 and V2. So this is my design and my invention. And do you understand it now? Thank you very much. Bye bye.